Right now is a pretty interesting time to be playing Yu-Gi-Oh! On paper, the format is very diverse. If we look at the top 32 EU remote duel breakdown from this past weekend, you can see a ton of different decks were able to top. Yeah, you have Sword Soul and Lyrilisc, the two most popular decks, but beyond that, you have a variety of different decks that were able to make it to the top 32. Unfortunately, though, there are a number of toxic and problematic cards in the format that I feel like Konami should probably address on the upcoming ban list. Now, a few days ago, I talked about one of them, ARCHNEMESES PROTOS, which by the way was pretty funny because the comment section on that video thought that by saying PROTOS should be banned, that meant I thought that no other cards should be banned, even though I never really said that in that video. But yeah, trust me, PROTOS is not the only card that I think needs to be banned on the upcoming ban list. So in today's video, we are going to talk about a whole bunch of other cards that Konami should probably consider banning on the next ban list whenever that ends up getting revealed. Now, it is worth mentioning that we will at the very least have one in-person YCS before the ban list is updated, but after that we really don't know, and I wouldn't be surprised if Konami did give us a ban list update right after that in-person YCS in California. Regardless, in today's video I wanted to give my opinion on a few of the most annoying cards in the format, and I will say here with the Protos video that sometimes it seemed like people didn't really understand what I was talking about in terms of the context of that card in the current metagame. I saw a number of people comment like, oh, the card isn't that hard to out, it only can't be destroyed, you can use cards like Compulse on it, which kind of completely missed the point about what made Protos good. And while I don't assume that everyone that watches these videos is a modern Yu-Gi-Oh player, I do try my best to explain things and what their context is in the current format, and in that video I thought I made it pretty clear that Protos is good because it locks you out of the game before you have a chance to start your turn, not because it's difficult to deal with once it's on the board. And I say all this because I know that the cards in today's video, like all cards in Yu-Gi-Oh, do have their counters, but unfortunately they're still so strong that those counters don't really matter enough of the time. Anyway, now that I've spent a couple minutes trying to preemptively fix the comment section, let's talk about some cards that Konami might have to ban on the upcoming ban list. First up, let's talk about a card that I think most people agree on. We have Imperial Order. This card should not be limited in the current format. It absolutely should be banned, and I think a lot of people have argued for a very long time that this card shouldn't have been legal, even with the errata that it currently has. One of the main problems with Order is that it's completely generic and requires zero setup. That means you can easily put it into a combo deck or a control deck or a mid-range deck that's sort of in between combo and control. Any deck can use Imperial Order, and they probably are in the current format. Does Order have outs? I mean, sure, just summon Nightmare Phoenix, but like all of the cards I'm going to talk about in today's video, it's not like people are only activating Order and that's their entire turn. They're activating Order on top of having several negates already on the board or in their hand, and I think that's one of the biggest issues with Order right now. You watch your opponent do their entire combo because, oh, you drew the Dark Ruler or you drew the Forbidden Droplet, you know you can out their regular combo, but unfortunately they just drew the orders, so now you lose anyway and you wasted all of that time. Order is a very sacky one-of. It always feels unfair whenever it's played, and I think even the people that do win with the card, which I'm sure we've all gotten a couple wins with it, agree that the card is extremely toxic and should not be legal in the current metagame. Next up, let's talk about PREDAPLANT Anaconda. Now, I don't want to focus on the debate between Destroyer Phoenix Enforcer and Red Eyes Dark Dragoon. As I kind of predicted before Destroyer Phoenix Enforcer was released, that really has become the most popular engine to use with PREDAPLANT Anaconda. Fusion Destiny is just such a powerful card, even if Dragoon is better on paper once it hits the field. Regardless of how you are using Anaconda though, I think the fact remains that Konami really does need to hit this card on the upcoming ban list. We've been saying that for months now, but in the past it was kind of tough to talk about because a lot of the top decks weren't actually playing Dragoon, but now that Destroyer Phoenix Enforcer has been released, a lot more people are using Anaconda Anaconda in their deck. If we look at the top 32 breakdown for that EU Remote Duel YCS once again here, you'll see a ton of decks for playing the Destroyer Phoenix Enforcer engine. All of the decks that say DPE next to their name are playing Anaconda and Fusion Destiny and stuff like that. So Anaconda is very popular in the current format, and I think on paper Anaconda has always been a broken card. Maybe it's not always been in the metagame, but I think from a design standpoint, Anaconda doesn't make a lot of sense. Being able to copy any normal or quick play spell card that says fusion or polymerization in its name is an absolutely insane ability, as Anaconda has been able to prove at tournaments over the past couple of years since it's been released. Anaconda is currently at an all-time high in terms of play rate, in my opinion at least. It's all over the place, and I think it's a card that people have wanted banned for quite a while, but right now it finally feels like the right time. Keep in mind that even without Anaconda, Destroyer Phoenix Enforcer is perfectly fine. People will still play Fusion Destiny, and obviously Konami really likes this engine. They are giving Fusion Destiny an ultimate rare upgrade in the next OTS pack, but even without Anaconda, Dragoon will still be okay as well once that Elbaz structure deck is released, because a lot of people are ending on Dragoon in that Elbaz deck. So I think Anaconda up until this point has always been poorly designed, but at the moment it feels like the right time to finally ban it. Finally, let's talk about the artifact engine that's currently being played that usually just has Artifact Scythe and Artifact Dagda. Now, Artifact Dagda is not a new card. This card was released back in March of 2020, and a lot of people thought it was going to have a huge impact on the metagame when it was released. But honestly, it did kind of flop. You know, we saw some decks playing it, but for the most part, it wasn't really around in the metagame. That was up until the release of Destroyer Phoenix Enforcer. At this point, you can go into Anaconda plus Dagda, use the Anaconda effect to summon Destroyer Phoenix Enforcer, which then triggers the Dagda effect to set Artifact Scythe, and then on your opponent's turn, you'll use the Destroyer Phoenix Enforcer to pop the Scythe that you just set, and then your opponent is locked out of the extra deck for the rest of the turn, which makes it pretty easy to win against a lot of the current decks. Now, this combo would get worse, obviously, if Anaconda ended up getting banned, but I think even if Anaconda gets banned, Konami should at least consider hitting either Scythe or Dagda. Now, people can't seem to agree which hit is better. Personally, I'm kind of divided. On one hand, if you hit Dagda but not Scythe, people could still play Artifact Sanctum, but on the other hand, Dagda is an extra deck monster, and that's kind of what makes the combo so broken. You always have access to it, but if you banned Scythe, Dagda probably would never see play again, so who really knows which hit would be the better one? Maybe you guys have your own opinion that you can post in the comment section below. Regardless, I think that these cards are worth considering from Konami's perspective in terms of which cards should get banned on the upcoming ban list. I think that Order and Anaconda are the two bigger hits, but Artifact Dagda and Artifact Scythe are pretty overpowered as well. I hope you guys enjoyed today's discussion video. I'm sure the comment section will be real fun, but anyway, I'll see you guys later. Thanks so much for watching. Goodbye.